Okay, well, it says that we're live now. So that should be it.
It's only me watching.
Okay, that's fine. It's a new format tonight.
It's fine.
Oh, there's 5 people. Robert Bell, how are you? Good evening. Leslie. Linda, how was your winter at the weekend? Hi Ellen, how are you? Guys, you need to let me know if you can hear me okay. This is a new format. My iPad is not playing, so I've had to do this on my laptop tonight, and you know how good I am with technology. So let me know if everyone's okay, if you can hear me, if you can see me. Let me know if everyone's going on okay. Okay, so interesting there. We were talking last week about whether or not we're going to keep this going, and how Spirit was going along, and things have really sort of picked up this week. Now I just finished a sitting there for a lovely chap in Millport, and then jumped straight on to this, and I'm actually back out on the road tomorrow night, believe it or not, doing sittings. And then on Wednesday night I've got my Zoom call with the wee church, which I love doing. So yeah, things are starting to pick back up again, starting to get a wee bit more back to normal. I had a lovely day today over in Argyll and Blairmore and Ardentiny, and rushed back here to get to you guys and do our live. So just killing a wee bit of time here, waiting for a few questions to come in. Once again, if you could share this, that would be absolutely fantastic. I believe it's made public, so it can be shared. And bear in mind, if you've missed any of these Q&A sessions, they're all up on YouTube now, all 5 of them. They're doing okay. They're doing one's at nearly 100 views, so we're nearly famous. So, is there any questions coming in, Josh? Because I can't see them here.
None at all so far.
None at all.
Sent a
So,
question, someone open.
sorry.
Catherine Gray sent a question. What has been your spookiest encounter?
What has been my spookiest encounter? Right. Okay, so you guys are, I can't see the feed or the questions coming in, so you guys are ultra important tonight. So my spookiest encounter, that was actually before I was even aware I had a spiritual gift. I was the tender age of 18 years of age, and I was working in the Cymru Club in Millport. And for anybody that was ever in the Cymru Club in Millport, you would know that there was the top bar, which was where they come in for their pub lunch or come in at night for a drink, that sort of thing. And then we had a room at the back, a private function room. But then there was the main big hall on the bottom floor. And we used to have these huge big bottles of house wine. And they were kept downstairs in a place called the Range, which was basically just a big long corridor. And the reason it was called the Range was troops were stationed there through the war, and used to practice shooting down this big long range. So we ran out of house wine at the top bar, and me being 18 and the youngest, I was sent down to get the house wine, which was kept at the bottom of the range because it was cool. So I went down the stairs and into the big hall, which was in darkness, but you could navigate your way across to the back corner, into the fire exit and into the range itself, and I'm walking down there. And hi Tom, there was, as I was walking down, I could hear these footsteps. And I thought, oh, it's just my echo. So I stopped, and the footsteps stopped. Right, definitely just my echo. So I walked on a wee bit more, and the footsteps came, and I stopped again. And the footsteps kept coming, and I'm standing stationary. So I simply ran down the range. I can still run in those days. Grabbed 2 big bottles of the house wine that I was there to get, hit the fire exit at the other end, and walked up and round the outside of the club, back at the front door, up the steps, and put them in. And the barmaid I was working with seen I was chalk white and covered with sweat, and she went, "You just met the ghost at the range, didn't you?" I said, "Yes, I did." So that's been my spookiest so far, and that's out with anything I'd ever done of a spiritual nature. So yeah, funny to look back on now, but scary at the time.
Gillian Lewis asked, why do I feel someone trying to wake me during the night?
Again, I can only answer this through experience. I was sent to England by Sir Arnold, and I stayed in a hotel that was sold. It was registered in the Domesday Book, which was, I think, 11th century, something like that. And this chap, the easiest way to describe the way this chap looked was like Gainsborough's Blue Boy, you know, the suit and the ruffle and things like that. And this chap used to come into my room at night and wake me up. And I'd had a particularly bad day at work, and I'd had to sack somebody for stealing. And I mean, 2-3 days before Christmas. And this particular night I came home, I had back to the hotel, I had a couple of drinks, and I went to my bed. And this chap came in and woke me up, and I said, "Look, leave me alone. I'm not in the mood today. Don't bother me. Just leave me alone. Let me sleep." And he never, ever came back. So it's sort of becoming my motto on here, but I say when, I say who, I say how much. Okay? If it's bothering you, just simply tell them to stop, and they will stop. Okay? And if they don't stop, come and see me, and I'll get them to stop.
Leslie Fairley said, OKG, have you ever had a well-known person or celebrity come through to you?
And not so far, no. I've read for a number of celebrities, but I should get my picture taken with them and put it up the wall behind me. Yeah? But no, I've never had anybody particularly well known come back through. No, sorry.
Charlene Cushnigan asked, do police ever use mediums to help solve crimes of missing people, etc.?
Yeah, they've never actually asked me personally, but that's big memories from the 70s and 80s, and in particular, a well-known murder in the town that was only solved a few years ago. The police used to come to my mum a lot. There was one that I remember. I was only a small boy, where a child had been murdered in Glasgow next to some high flats, and there was a reservoir involved and things like that. And they actually brought an item of clothing that the child was wearing. And that really freaked my mum out, and she stopped them from coming from there on in. I've never been asked, but we're maybe a wee bit more forensic in this day and age, so that's maybe why. I don't know. I don't know if that's why they haven't come to me, to be honest.
Sharon Armour asked, is there any meaning to a blow of air on the face strong enough to wake you up, like a person's breath?
Yes, absolutely. Again, and it's good to hear from you, Sharon, and it was nice to see your football team doing well. Sharon's married to my cousin Stuart. Again, if you watch when it happens, I think you'll find it's when spirit needs you to know that they're in and round about. So you've maybe had a particularly bad day, maybe something's not going well, and spirit are just letting you know that they are there. Someone just brought me a coffee. Fabulous.
Paul Gawkins said, need to give you a shout to help me. Nearly 2 weeks I keep getting the same things and I know it's spirit because you can't mistake it.
Okay, well, you and I have a chat after this or tomorrow, big man, and I hope you're feeling better. If everybody could send a wee get well to Paul. Paul's had a wee bit of surgery done, and he's a really, really good guy.
Lindsay McCann asked, did you ever go back to the range when you were older to see if anyone came through?
It's not there anymore. They knocked it down and built flats on it. But I would be really interested in if there's anybody from Millport on. We all know the story of the ghost of the range. I'd be interested to know if there's any spirit activity in those new flats where the Cumbria Club used to stand. That would be really interesting.
Leslie Fairley asked, ask him for a friend, but he says he dreams of his mum and she asks him to join her in spirit. I told him to ask her to go. Did I give him the right advice?
I get dreams about my mum and my dad. Never once have they asked me to join them in spirit. I gave Tom, my pal Tom Bury, asked a question about dreams a couple of weeks ago. And you can actually, this may be something you're constructing yourself, or he may be constructing himself. Ask spirit if it is truly them to change the nature of the dream. And if it is truly them, they will change it. Dreams, as you know, can be, it's about people we've met through the day, it's about things we've seen on the TV, you know. If it is truly spirit communication, which I don't think it is because they wouldn't be asking for the gentleman to join them, get them to ask spirit to reconstruct the dream and then see what happens. And keep me in the loop on that one. I'd be very, very interested to see what happens with that.
There's no more questions just now.
Okay.
Tom Ury said, I've always felt quite spooky in Millport.
He's just a spooky bugger in general. As with quite a few of you all on here, I'll phone you up at certain points and go, right, what's going on? What's happening? And Tom in particular always goes, you spooky bastard. I was just doing this, I was just doing that, I was just talking about you, there was a cracker about an agent. So, yeah, very, very interesting.
Yes, keep the questions coming.
So, keep the questions coming in, guys. Anything, experiences you've had, we'll look at those. Things you're not sure of. All the old wives' tales we've heard where you can't read for pregnant women. A lot of rubbish nearly swore there. Hi, Lynette.
Leslie said that she's told a friend to come to you for a reading.
Okay, well, yeah, come to me for reading, that's not a problem. I'm getting very, very good at doing them over this. I like them over this, but believe it or not, I'm actually out on the road tomorrow night. I'm going to a lady's house to see 2 or 3 people.
Liz Miller said, hi Gordon, I have had a lot of good luck after my reading with you.
Well, that's good to hear. I'll expect a check. Perhaps you could expand on that, Liz, and let us know what the good luck was. But that's fabulous to hear.
Robert Bell said, you give details of the spirits, i.e. height, looks, etc., but do they ever tell you their name?
Yeah, very often. Very often they do come through and give maybe their first name, that sort of thing. I remember standing in Glasgow. A church, it's a building in Pollokshaws, I can't remember the name of it, and wee Mary gave off a name and address in Glasgow. Now my mum didn't have a clue about Glasgow. I mean, I have a limited knowledge, but hers was very, very sparse, and she actually stood and gave an address. So yeah, it does come through. I've given off addresses, I've given off names, full names as well, but not very often. They make you build it up piece by piece by piece, and very often it'll be the first names that drop in.
Christine Haggerty said, I remember you telling me that when I'm crying for my parents, that to them it's like they're standing looking through a glass door and they see me crying for them, but it upsets them as they're looking at me through the glass but can't get to me to give me a hug. Do you remember that, Gordon?
I remember it well. You got it slightly reversed around, but the sentiment is there. I think what they're trying to say is they liken it to a member of your family alive and well on the opposite side of a glass door from you, breaking their heart crying, and you can't get through that door to get to the person, you get upset. So when they stand on the higher side and see you upset here, and they can't get to you unless there's somebody like myself around, well, they get upset on the higher side. So, but you've got the gist of it, yes.
Paul Galkin asked if you get any more Zoom churches we can tune into.
Not at the moment. The one that I served a couple of weeks ago, I still go on that, and I enjoy it. But no. But if you know of any that could use me, Paul, just pass me out. Look at my lovely big coffee cup.
Sam Shepherd said, "Hey Gordon, could you possibly say a wee prayer for my cousin? She's just had an op and is really suffering."
Put the name on that, and we'll do something after this. Okay.
Gillian Lewis said, "When my sister had cancer, she had a dream that my nana was telling her to come with her. My nana had died many years ago. She was nearly really close to my nana when she woke up. Any clue why?"
Okay. So I'm going to answer that with a question, and we'll get back into this. Was the grandmother still alive at the time? Because you mentioned after that she was very close to your grandmother. So was the grandmother still alive at the time,
She was
or was she
nearly
at the house?
nearly close to my nana when she woke up. Sorry, I don't know whether that means that she was physically there.
Just retake that again for me, because that's really interesting.
Lynette Watson asked, "If your dog keeps looking in the same corner, does that mean there is a spirit, as he always does it to the same corner and there is nothing there?"
Either that or a biscuit. So yeah, animals are really, really good. Cats in particular, dogs good, but cats in particular. And the amount of messages I've given through where somebody said that bloody big Labrador nearly gave me away again, So yeah, just keep an eye on it. You should be able to see from the dog's eye line the sort of height they're going to be looking at, which will give you an indication of who the person is. And welcome them into the house. Let them know you know they're there, and just welcome them in. A door used to blow open in our house when I grew up. My mum used to say, "Welcome, spirit," and you come.
Annette Lavelle said, "I was once handed a scarf belonging to a missing woman. I immediately knew that she'd passed over and was in dark, deep water. She'd committed suicide due to constant taunting and harassment by her workmates, and it turned out they found her in deep water after many weeks, and she had in fact been driven to suicide because of these workmates. I had so hoped that I'd got it wrong."
I know you did, kid. I know you did. Well, Annette's more than a capable medium. So, who gave you the scarf would be my question to that. That's what really interests me. Who gave you the scarf? Once again, guys, if you wouldn't mind, and I don't know what this means, but apparently it's a good thing, if you could share this, and keep it going out there, that would be fantastic.
Sharon Armour asked, "Hi G, while you're doing a reading, do you hear voices or see images? Thanks."
Both. Sometimes I can hear things as clear as I can hear Georgia sitting next to me, okay? Sometimes they will go through my head like a filing cabinet, and they'll pull out a memory and go, "Talk about this." If somebody died of a heart attack, I'll get pain across my chest, believe it or not, which for a nearly 50-year-old man who smokes a lot is a bit worrying. And this is really funny, if it's an old injury to a leg, they'll hurt my right knee because I damaged that when I was 16. But if it's a more recent injury to a leg, they'll hurt my left knee, which I tore the cruciate ligament in when I was 35, thanks to her. So yeah, it's funny, but a lot of the times they'll show you pictures, they'll show you places, they'll give you taste in your mouth. Look, most Armours, I've got a really big nose, and my nose doesn't work very well. I have virtually no sense of smell. But see, when I'm working for Spirit, I can smell everything. I can smell aftershaves, I can smell, heather, I can smell everything, flowers. But most of the time through the day, this big honk does not work. So yeah, it's fascinating, and it takes years to develop. And trust in spirit that what you're seeing, feeling in your mind's eye, why you're hurting, why it's correct. You know, so it takes years to develop, but there's many different ways they choose to get the information through.
You'd asked Liz Miller earlier what her good luck was after the reading.
Uh-huh.
I got an unexpected PPI payout.
Oh, excellent. Right. Okay. That's fantastic.
Paul Gawkin also said, I have to say, in the weeks watching these, I feel much better just having that connection to spirit. It's a great peaceful feeling.
Yeah. What does that tell you, big boy? Time for you to get back out there.
Leslie Fairley said, I know you have been doing a reading for someone, and at the time you guided her through her home. How do you do that? Is it Robert that tells you the layout of her house?
Here's, I'm getting harassed here. Look at this. My bonny lass. Where's my bonny lass? Right, bugger off. I'm busy. That is a bit. That takes a lot out of me. That. But quite literally, I can shut my eyes and be there. I can see the path, walking up the path, walking through the front door. Sometimes there's a couple of stairs going up the front door. I can see the wallpaper on the walls. It's purely in my mind's eye, and it must be Robert that's doing it. He must just ramp everything right up. And but yeah, and it's usually really accurate. I can see things out the window. I remember doing this house walkthrough, and it was one floor up in a reasonably modern flat. It was a long corridor, doors off to either side, and I was that busy looking out the window in my mind's eye at this bus outside that I managed to somehow in my mind's eye walk into the coffee table, and it hurt my legs. And I had to move back and go around the coffee table and go to this particular picture on the wall that was the evidence I was there to give. But absolutely fabulous. Brilliant.
So Gillian Lewis's question from earlier about our sister, I think it was her sister, sorry, I'll go back and reread the question, but she said, when my sister had cancer, she had a dream that my nana was telling her to come with her. My nana had died so many years ago, and what she meant was that she was nearly close to reaching her in the dream when she woke up. Any clue why?
My understanding is, and I answered something similar for Charlotte Taylor a couple of weeks ago, that Spirit are doing everything they can on the higher side to help us stay here, or to make the transition over as easy and simple as they possibly can. What's the lady's name?
Gillian Lewis.
Gillian, would you allow me to chew on this for a couple of days? I'd like to think about this and see if I can work it out, maybe ask Robert for some help. And message me in a couple of days. Is that okay? Because it kind of goes against everything, but works with everything as well. So I need to try and work that out.
Eddie Nichols said, our kitchen door opened last night, so we said hello and you come. Moments later, the door closed, so we said thank you and goodbye. No windows open to cause a draft or anything.
That sounds like Eddie Nichol joinery to me. That's fantastic, Eddie. You're getting physical evidence around the house, pal, but you attract it, you know that.
And let Lavelle give a bit more information about
Yes,
the scarf.
I wanted to know about that scarf. So, Eddie, just keep welcoming them in.
She said, my brother got the scarf from the woman's partner. He thought I might get something because the partner was obviously very distressed by her disappearance. I could feel her next to me.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing, and it just goes to show the level of mediumship you're working to. That's absolutely fantastic. I forget what they call it when you pick up from a ring or a scarf or some object. I forget the actual name of it, but that just shows the level of that's not a biscuit I've got. It just shows the level of mediumship that you're working to. Polly, could you call this big dog, please?
Gillian got back to you and said, absolutely, thank you.
Yeah, please come back to me on this. Polly, can you shout the dog, please?
Lindsay McCann asked, is there anyone dead or alive that you would love to do a reading for?
Wow. think about that. Yeah, I have heroes in life, as everybody does, who I would just like to meet, let alone sit down and give readings for. There's a lot of mediums I wish I had met who'd lived in my lifetime, Helen Duncan being one of them. But I need to chew on that for a while. Lindsay, you asked the best questions, so let me think about that for a while. I'll come back to you.
More questions needed. Michael Martin said hi.
Hi, Michael. How are you, son? Hope work's going okay. Okay, so we're looking for a few more questions at the moment. Again, some of your experiences. Hello, Angela Wilson. I had to work out how to say that. So yeah, any more experiences? I'm really interested in people who get physical evidence. There's a lady, and it's really interesting because my sister used to live in part of this house. There's a big house in Greenock called Lindores Manor, and there's a lady who lives there who become pally with through spiritualism. And Lindores Manor was all split up and dissected up and sold off as separate houses, but it was built by either Tate or Lyle of Tate and Lyle. And she's getting spirit activity in her house, and it's sort of directly up at a diagonal from the part that my sister lived in. And my sister maintained that she used to see an old man walking down the stairs, walking through what was her living room and into another door, which obviously in his time led to another part of the house, but was in fact a cupboard in her house. So I'd be really interested to know if anybody has physical activity in the house. If Katie McGee's on, I know she had it and I came out and it stopped. Yeah, so if it's anything like that, let me know, because I'm due to do a walkthrough in Lindores Manor. I think I've double booked myself for tomorrow, so I'll need to move to Thursday. But yeah, anything at all, let me know.
Leslie Fairley said, Gordy, will you mention that you do online...
Psychometry, well done, Ellen. Could I remember?
Gordy, will you mention that you do online readings, as a few of my friends have joined tonight for the first time?
Yeah, I'll do I'll do online readings. Just PM me is the best way to do it. Is that Leslie talking?
That was Leslie, yeah.
Okay,
And you've asked
so
for people that are interested in Morton sittings to come through tonight, because availability is going.
okay, Steph is saying that availability is going for private readings. So yeah, so if you want 1 PM through, one of the girls will set it up. It's not a problem.
Lorraine Graham asked, what are the types of evidence people would get
In what way?
in a reading, I'm assuming?
Is the same as if I was standing in front of you doing a reading.
No, I think she just means in a reading.
Oh, in general?
Uh-huh.
Well, nobody comes through and says, my name is John Smith and I lived at number 1 Ann Street. Okay, if they did that, it'd be really easy, we could all do it. If they wanted me to get to the name John Smith, they would quite simply show me a picture of my brother-in-law, whose name is John Smith. But he calls himself Ian, as a lot of people in Scotland called John do. So automatically I'd be wrong, because I'd say, who's Ian? And you go, oh, I don't know. So I would have to, again, interpret, why am I being shown this? And I would work it out from there. So it's memories, names, dates, months, anniversaries, situations about dying. The first thing I generally get is descriptions of people. So lots of different things. But 9 times out of 10, memories, anniversaries, all that sort of thing. But as I always say to people, you'll hear what you need to hear, not what you want to hear sometimes. And this is really important, because a lot of people go through, oh, it's not so-and-so, I don't hear this, it's not so-and-so, I don't hear that. Knickers. They will tell you what you need to hear. They're there to give help and guidance in your life and to steer you in certain ways, because they can see other things going on and they're trying to help you. So very often in a reading, it's not what you want, but it's what you need. Excuse me, we say those things.
No, no bother. Michael Martin asked, Gordy, is it too dangerous to ask spirit to give physical evidence?
I asked Spirit to give physical evidence, and a few of the people on here tonight have actually had it. So knocks on walls, lights flickering, doors opening and closing, as Eddie said there 2 seconds ago. I actually, in his Kilbride one night, had a TV switching on and off, with nobody with a remote anywhere nearby. So for somebody of my level, then no, it's not dangerous. But I don't want you doing it yet. I know you're bursting to get going, pal, but we'll get going soon enough, okay?
Eddie Nichols said, interesting hearing about your remote viewing. The American intelligence used to use that a lot during the Cold War.
I don't think I'm reliable enough for that, Eddie. It happens 1 in every 10 sittings. So I don't know if I'm reliable enough for that, but I'll need to look up on that. Send me a link to that or something. That'd be really interesting. I'll read about that.
Paul Gawkins said, I wake every morning and if it's not my mum, it's my dad, and I hear them clear as day saying, take it bit by bit, as in break my day up, because there were days I felt I couldn't face it, and the difference hearing those voices makes.
You're like me, you are an absolute demon for work. If I told you the day I had today, you just wouldn't believe it. I got all the deals right enough. But like me, you're a demon for work, and what they're saying to you is, because, and I feel comfortable enough to say this to you, you're not in the best of health at the moment, so take it a bit, okay? And the fact that you hear that every morning should set you off fantastically. But we're on the mend now, big guy, and I'm ever so proud of you. And I can't wait to stand next to your platform. Eddie Dorian, good evening.
Lorraine Graham asked, have you ever been asked to clear a house or a venue of a bad spirit?
Yes. And if Katie McGee was on here, she would vouch that I have done it. And the funny thing about it was, I was asking for signs, I was asking for taps, I was asking for knocks. We took photographs and we were looking for things in the photographs. And if you asked me, I would have said I didn't do a good job. I didn't feel I would do a good job. Mum was better than that than I was. But there was never another bit of bother in the house after that. And in actual fact, it was on here, and if you look back through the Q&As on YouTube, it was on here that the person actually moved on to a different member of the family. So, very interesting. And if you want me to have a go at it, I'll come and do it. I'm not saying I'm the best at it, but the ones I've done so far have been very, very good.
Angela Wilson asked, does having a dream about a loved one mean they are visiting us?
Yeah, pal. Yeah, so happy it's happening to you. Yes, absolutely. As I've always said, I say it on here a lot, you are most susceptible to spirit just as you're dozing off to sleep, or just as you're rousing from sleep. And although dreams feel as if they're hours long, in actual fact they're only seconds long, and it's maybe just as you're starting to wake, you are getting the spirit communication through dreams. What I would urge you to do is to keep a notepad and pen next to the bed, and when you wake up, write as much of it down as you can, and let's watch if there's a pattern in the dates or the days, the spaces in between, or in fact with the dreams themselves, if there are any patterns or progressions through the dream. There's my pal Dozer. Hi, pal.
Robert Bell asked, do spirits give you any clue as to what's going to happen in the future?
I get a wee bit of forecast. Not an awful lot. If I could do that, I would not be sitting here talking to you fine people. I would be somewhere hot and sunny, not a big boat. But I get a wee bit of forecast from time to time. Be mindful of this, be mindful of that, but not an awful lot. It's more about proof of that life is eternal, that you cannot die for the life of you, that people, although they have moved on, we can no longer touch them or speak to them, but we can speak to them, but we just can't always hear an answer back. So that's more my gig, is proof of life eternal, proof that spirit are in your life giving help and guidance, But in amongst that, they will give a wee bit of forecast.
Leslie Fairley said, the night before my family member's funeral, I heard my front door open and felt cold air come in the living room. The cushion on the sofa moved. I said, hello, can you just go? I didn't like her, even though I had to bury her, but I think she came to see her daughter before she was buried.
As I said on here, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, the person you didn't like, if they hadn't led a particularly good life here or a good life in relation to yourself, whilst they were here on the material plane, can spend an awful lot of time on the higher side trying to make up for the shortfalls in the relationship here. So that's maybe the first step towards that, and you've pushed them back a wee bit, which is your choice, which is your entitlement. You're right. Sometimes we can be a wee bit closed mind, so I don't know, pal, but if you're uncomfortable, you have the right to tell them to go.
This might be a personal one. It's from Christine Haggerty. She's on top one now. It's not really. It might be on it. So.
Christine, that's a bit of a public one. And obviously, it's well documented. But if it's something you want to do, then I'll help you with it. Okay. But I'm not going into that on here. We'll do that one-to-one.
Stuart Graham said, I used to hear someone breathing next to me when lying in bed, no one in the house with me.
With a couple that Stuart Graham's got, I'd be quite happy to hear MD breathing next to me in bed. No, that's Stuart. That's one of the reasons that you're one of the Fantastic Five. There's definitely a gift there, and we'll look at it, pal, and we'll get it developed. But again, bear in mind my motto: you say who, you say when, you say how much. You are in charge.
Gillian Lewis asked, my mum told me in April 2006 she was not going to be able to live past December. She was not, and she ended up dying in November 2006. How was it possible for her to know that?
That's more for a physician than a medium. I know certainly in the last few weeks I've been talking about stopping smoking again, because now at nearly 50 years of age, I can feel it, and I can feel the effect it's having on me. So the lady's maybe noticing the deterioration in her body and maybe saying, look, I don't think I'll see Christmas, that sort of thing. Certainly from a spiritualist point of view, even the most gifted medium is not given that sort of information. It's too much of a responsibility. So it's maybe just a feeling the lady had herself. I'm sorry I couldn't answer that better.
Caroline Dunn said, there was a door in here creaking during the night, but all of our windows were closed. I was awake most of the night with a really uneasy feeling.
Okay, you know my motto, just tell them to stop. You're in charge.
Lorraine Graham said, at a reading I had from you, you spoke about a photo that had been placed on my fridge that night. I was like, no. Then when you dug deeper, it was a painting my daughter did of me that we put on the fridge before I left to come and see you.
Okay, so we were right then. And that I just said this to a chap earlier on. It was a lovely big guy from Millport, and we don't know if we know each other, right? Because we're both going to Millport for the same amount of time, and we've maybe stood next to each other and had a pint in the same pubs and things like that. So we didn't know if we knew each other. And some of the information I was giving this chap, he's going, how do you know that? How do you know that? Well, if I don't know him and he doesn't know me, or we're not sure if we know each other, and his loved ones are on the higher side giving me information to give to him, how can we deny the fact that spiritualism is real? Okay, there is a higher side, there is somewhere we go, and there is an ability for them to communicate back through people with a mediumistic gift. How can we deny it? It's fabulous.
Eddie Nichols said, in York, a gentleman went into a cellar. I could see Roman soldiers walking, but only from the knee up. After some investigation, they discovered there was a Roman road there, and in fact that it was down at the height from ankle to knee.
Wow, that's incredible. That's real strong mediumistic stuff. That's fantastic, Eddie. You and I should really maybe get together at some point.
Good question from Lindsay. Lindsay McCann asked, was Robert ever a living person?
Well, again, it keeps coming around to this guide question. Yes, I believe, and this is just my belief, that my guide was a chap called Robert Gamble. So you can Google him. He's got a very, very strong connection to Guruk, as I have. And of course, I was trained in the Gamble halls. So that's my belief. But yes, definitely a living person, yes.
Adele Kerr asked, do you do single readings or only groups?
I never read a group of people. I always take people away into a separate room or on here for an individual reading. So yeah, if it's just the one you want, just contact me. We'll get it done. It's not a problem. Steph will set up.
Eddie Dorian asked, I missed the start, mate. Have you spoke about your spirit guide and how you came into contact with him?
Yeah, that's on, I think, Q&A 3. And it's to do, and you'll know the Gamble Halls, Eddie and Guruk, and it's to do with the White Rose Fellowship being there. And although we were primarily at the very start trained in my mum's house, we moved on to when the White Rose Fellowship started up. There would be a medium on in the first half. I guess the medium would come on and take the service, and then they would break for a cup of tea, and people would get downstairs for a cigarette, etc. And then they would put on what they called the fledglings. So guys like me, Stuart Esler at the time, Peter Goff, various other different people, and we would work the second half, and it gave us practice, if you like, before we actually went out or were ready to go out and do churches ourselves. But even at that, you were never, right, cut, you're working next week in Berkeley Street. That just didn't happen. You went with a trained medium. I was very lucky that mine was Mary Armour. And they would work, and they would stop and take a wee break, and then you would stand up, and if you were lucky enough to have anything, you would give it off to the congregation. I need to stop for a second here, guys, because this is the second time this has happened to me. Somebody on here must understand a gentleman who passed with esophageal cancer, like my dad. Did you hear it?
I heard it twice.
They actually closed my throat there. So if you can't understand this, stop putting posts up for a wee second. I will come back, I promise. But somebody on here must understand the gentleman who passed with esophageal cancer, because he's standing right there. Right, guys, eyes on these things and watch them coming in, please. This gentleman is not letting me.
Leslie said it might be her granddad.
Granddad.
Annette Lavelle said she does as well.
Okay. Annette, would this be your partner? Because I get the feeling this guy stands as big as me, and I know your partner was a big man. I never do this, but the chap just won't leave me alone. Annette, you there, Pat?
Stuart Graham also said it could be his uncle.
Okay. Do you know what to do? Because this is too slow.
Annette Lavelle said no.
No, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Sharon Armour said could be Big Johnny.
But that's too close to me, Sharon. The curse of the medium, I can't bring more loved ones through. Because that got my dad, my Uncle John, my grandmother, and my great-grandmother. So.
Leslie Fairley said my granddad had to get a false voice box.
Yeah, so did my dad. Right, Leslie, I'll PM you later, kid. Okay, so sorry guys, back to questions. This chap just has to wait a wee bit longer.
Angela Wilson said, is paralysis sleep a spirit? I had it and someone came in the room when they were there, it was blurred and I couldn't move until they had left the room.
No. Okay, so sleep paralysis, no. I'll say this again, okay? You are always surrounded by spirit. Obviously, you have your quiet times, your private times, but you are always surrounded by spirit and spirit who love you, okay? So it'll either be my mum, my dad, my big uncle John, my gran, something like that will always be round about me, giving help and guidance in my life. And as I say, you have your private times as well, okay? So too much of Hollywood creeps into spiritualism for my liking, okay? We are quite simply communicating loved ones back to you, okay? And if heaven was really heaven, would it be heaven if you couldn't talk back to people, you know? So, no, sleep paralysis is just a medical condition. There's nobody on the higher side that get close enough to you to do any damage because they quite simply will not get past your loved ones. So don't worry about it. Well, if you've got sleep paralysis, worry about it. But it's not to do with spirit. Let's get it checked out medically.
Meditation helps.
Meditation helps. Georgia says.
Leslie Fairley asked, after my mammy passed, my blinds kept closing themselves. I asked someone we both knew, could it be my mammy, letting me know she was around. I was told I was being ridiculous. Do you
No,
think it
not at all.
possibly was her?
Not at all being ridiculous. Excuse me. Not at all being ridiculous. Spirit love being around you. You seem to attract them very, very well. Excuse me. Just that gentleman affected my throat earlier on. So yeah, that'll be your wee mum closing your blinds for you. And don't let anybody ever tell you physical evidence is ridiculous. If you see it, if you relate to it, then it's fabulous, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Questions coming.
Okay, so we're into about our last 12 minutes. Keep the questions coming along. Remember and apparently share this, whatever that means. Spent a lot of time, Georgie and I, at the weekend, and we got this. Can I just say, I managed it. She was rubbish. Got this all downloaded onto the laptop. I've got my laptop back finally. It's brilliant. And we loaded it up onto my YouTube channel. So please feel free to go on to my YouTube channel and subscribe. And
How do you find your YouTube channel?
how do you find the YouTube channel? You quite simply go onto YouTube and in the space bar type Gordon Armour, and this big ugly coupon pops up.
That's not shut up.
Eh?
Did you change it?
No, it actually goes straight onto my videos.
All right.
Try it on your phone. It's really clever.
Gillian Lewis said, thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Oh, Gillian, I love this. And as I was saying last week, I thought last week might be my last one, but I've got this fire in my belly now to get the word out there with this. Okay, things aren't normal at the moment, okay, but when things go back to some sort of normal, when we can meet up again in halls and things like that, I want to rev this right up and start putting money out there, because I know Polly and I have been financially affected by COVID-19, but we're lucky enough that we've kept going. But there must be people out there who are absolutely devastated by this. There's going to be kids out there who are going without. There's going to be guys out there gutted because they can't do for their kids. I know I would be like that if I couldn't do for my kids. So as soon as we can, I want to rev the wheels off this, get out into halls and raise as much for COVID hit families and children. So we will keep this going and just share the hell out of it, guys.
Angela Wilson asked, my wee girl tells me she sees my dad. Can kids really see spirits as she never got to meet him?
Brahma. I was speaking to a girl not so long ago who, like you, their kid never got to meet thanks, Caroline. The kids never got to meet the grandparents or this particular grandfather. But she would talk away to the man, as she called him, and then they went round to somebody's house who had a picture of this gentleman on the wall. And she went, Mum, that's the man. And it was the girl's dad, obviously, in this picture. So, yeah, if they're talking, brilliant. But bear in mind, if it starts to bother them, you have the right to say, stop. Okay. Wait, see, second, Georgie, I've got to, there's people trying to add all the time, so there we go. The benefit of having a laptop.
Leslie Fairley asked, how would I find out and who if I have a spirit guide?
Well, you definitely have. I tripped over mine. It wasn't who my mum said it was, which is really weird. But I tripped over mine, and to this day, everybody keeps asking, but I don't remember how I worked it out. But yes, you definitely do. And maybe sitting quietly, a wee bit of meditation, maybe a bit of cross-reference from different mediums, not just me. Will start to confirm that. But I would feel, I think your guide is definitely female, my love.
Lorraine Graham asks, are there other things on your channel or is it just these lives?
There's a couple of daft ones of dogs. There's a couple of me out in boats with Steph. But mostly at the moment, it's just these. Yeah, it is something I do plan to expand on. I want to talk to Eddie Nicola about something, and we'll maybe look at expanding it a wee bit.
Paul Gawkin asked, is it true spirit always put you where you need to be?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I, as you know, still get nervous coming on here. I still get nervous going into a sitting. What if it doesn't work? What if nothing comes? I still get nervous going to take a charity night or a church platform. But spirit will never, ever, ever hang you out to dry. If they don't want you there to work, you won't be there. Okay? So they will never hang you out to dry, and never doubt, Paul, for a second that if they send you somewhere, you're not there to do something. Okay?
Don McPherson said, you said that spirits are always around you. My gran and granddad have both passed. They have 5 kids and several grandchildren, as well as great-grandchildren. My question is, are they both around everyone all the time, or do they go through all of us?
Best way to answer that is with a reading I was doing in America the other night. I was here, but I was reading for women in America. And the ability for spirit to move seems to be instant. Because I got a tap on the wall here behind me, and I said to the girl, I've just had a tap, and then 2 seconds later, she had 2 taps. And I'm talking about Indianapolis. I'm not talking about the East Coast. I'm talking about Indianapolis. I'm talking Central America. So they seem to have the ability to move wherever they want, when they want. Who knows? They may be able to be in multiple places at once, looking after you, looking after your sister, your brother, whatever. I don't have that experience. I don't know that. But yes, they can get about round everyone.
Annette Lavelle said, my spirit friend turns my lights on sometimes during the night. I have it verified by a security camera, and my neighbours love to think that they're protecting me during the night if somebody's around outside.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I'd be interested in seeing those videos, to be honest, of them just coming on. That's very interesting. Yeah, I'd like to see that. My youngest daughter here, Georgia, she's a TV and media graduate, so I'd like for her to see the tapes and do some stuff with it and see what we can actually see on it. So yeah, interested in that.
It's my friend Demi White. She has asked, I've been told I have spirits in my house. Me and my partner have heard strange noises, stuff physically falling when no one is in the room. But recently my little girl has been waking up at all times of the night, waving at someone in the corner of the room. But she keeps shouting, get out, looking scared a lot. A lot of people are saying that can't be possible. Is it possible?
Oh, it's absolutely possible. A very, very good reference for this would be the Nicole Kidman film called The Others, where there's actually 2 parallel lives going on within the one house. Again, you're in charge. Okay, so if it's bothering the kid, just tell them to sling their hook, and if it doesn't work, I'll come in. But by the way, is this wee Demi that used to live across in the Guruk Pool?
Yeah, my
God,
pal.
I remember of that.
My wee baby.
And she's got a kid now. Oh, these are all grown up. You need to stop doing that. So, Demi, if there is something there and the kid enjoys it, fine. If there is something there and it's upsetting you and annoying you, no. Tell it to sling its hook. And again, if it and be forceful when you mean it. Right, stop it. You're upsetting the kid. Beat it. Don't come back. If it doesn't work, hit Georgie or me on whatever, and we'll gladly help.
Do you want to go a wee bit 5 minutes?
If you want.
Because we were 5 minutes over.
Yeah, if you want.
Lorraine Graham asked, does everyone have a spirit guide or is it just people who are gifted?
Every one of us has some sort of mediumistic gift. Therefore, every one of us has a guide. Okay. Now, I liken this to the fact that I played football to a reasonable level. I played 3 nights a week, but I was never going to get a game for the Morton or Partick Thistle or Albion Rovers or whatever. And I certainly wasn't going to get a game for the big teams. So if I could play football to that level, then great. Okay, but everybody has a mediumistic gift to a certain level. Okay, so yes, what we call spirit guides, other people call guardian angels. Okay, and people seem to think they have a 7-foot bewinged bright white with a halo guardian angel looking after them. No, it's quite simply loved ones, your spirit guide. It's somebody who's meant to be there with you.
Leslie Fairley's asking, when do I get the next chapter of the great book I was reading?
Oh, the book. The book sort of ground to a halt. And I'll tell you for why. We were sitting not long after Dad passed, and we were all sitting down in Mum's. And we were having a perfectly pleasant Sunday afternoon. We're still a very, very tight-knit family, and we see each other as often as we can. And Aileen said something, a memory. And God forgive me, I can't remember what she actually said. I'm at that age. And I thought, how the hell is that not in my book? So life is just so busy at the moment between work and spiritualism. It's finding 10 minutes. Plus, we're all in different time zones now. Alison's in America and stuff. So it's finding the time to set up a group call. And when I say a group call, I mean Alison, Aileen, myself, Polly, the girls, my niece, Nicola, etc., and Ian, my brother-in-law, and sitting us all down on the one call and going, right, guys, memories. So I promise I will get back to the book. God, that's what I remember writing it, saying I was 47. As I sit here now, I'm 47. Christ, I'm nearly 50 now, and I'm still only halfway through. So yeah, I'll get back to the book.
There's actually quite a few questions still sitting, but I don't know if we've got time for them.
Oh, we'll run. It doesn't matter. We're on 5
Okay,
minutes.
well, Michael Martin asked, mind the time in the branch I saw your uncle on the boat.
Yeah, very fair. That picture, Steph, go and get that picture from the hall, please. One of the javelin. Michael, I'll let you see that picture. It's out on the hall, the wall in the hall.
Eddie Nichols said,
Hi, Anne.
in a trance class, Helen Duncan was communicating in one room and describing what was happening in your mum's class, which was in another room.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And it just shows the versatility and the movement they have, and it's totally different from anything. Steph, it's actually in the car, that picture. Sorry.
Ryan,
Michael, I'll get it out of the car and I'll show you it next week.
Ryan Docherty's asked, hello, do you think all ghosts are real? As sometimes I don't think they are, but others say otherwise.
Sorry, I was away a different ball. Don't ask it again.
Ryan Docherty asked, hello, do you think all ghosts are real? As sometimes I don't think they are real, but others say otherwise.
We don't call them ghosts, Ryan, we call them spirit. You can have people who are grounded here, who quite simply haven't moved on. We can help them move on. But 9 times out of 10, if you're getting spirit, movement, communication in and around about your house, it's just people trying to let you know that they are there, but we don't call them ghosts. I'm really sorry. I thought, Michael, that picture was up the wall. It's not. It's in the car because I want to get it reframed before I put it on the wall.
Adele Kerr has asked a question that's been answered, but she said, my 10-month-old baby keeps looking at the ceiling and smiling. Can she see a family member who's passed?
Maybe. It may be something that pleases a child that she can see. So yeah, we need to wait till the kid is a wee bit older and can vocalise a wee bit more to find out what's going on there. But again, the child is so well protected from spirit. I think by this person who she may be seeing, so that there's absolutely nothing for you to worry about.
Christine Haggerty said, I had to get your mum to my house many years ago because my son who has Tourette's was constantly seeing the dead. Your mum went and talked to him and came down and told me he has the gift. She told him to tell them to go to the light. He's seeing and hearing the dead again. He is extremely anxious these days and I don't know how to help him.
Okay, well, this fabulous young man was, what's the pass out paper you write for university?
Dissertation.
Was the subject of my oldest daughter Stephanie's dissertation, and I have in fact read for this boy. So, Chrisleen, you know anything he needs, because he took the time to help my Steph, so I'll take the time to help him. If it's not getting better, try yourself, be a wee bit more forceful in the boy's company to make it stop. I was going to say, when you tell them, you've got to mean it, okay? If it doesn't work, then I will come and do what I can for you. Good
Pretty
boy,
much
that.
time.
Okay. Well, guys, once again, we have run out of time. We need to start planning how we can help people with it once we can get back to work. So any ideas you guys can come up with would be very, very valuable. Again, PM me. If I don't get it, one of the girls will get it and they'll sort it out. Please continue to share, subscribe. Let's get the message out there. The only reason we're doing this is to get really working once we can. Yeah, I know a lot of you enjoy it and you like the spiritual connection, and sometimes I get messages and things like that, but I've now realised that this is to push on and let's start helping people, okay? Let's raise awareness of what we can do, because the more we share this, the more we get it out there, the more people will come to me and ask for help, and I'll go out and work for them and help them, okay? So listen, I love this. I hope you guys love it. Remember, there is the Zoom call on Wednesday night that I served a couple of weeks ago. Sorry, Steph.
Someone's asked, do you know when you'll be at the factory club?
No, the Factory Club was one of the charity nights that get cancelled. I was absolutely gutted at that. But as soon as they can have it, we'll do it. Because again, I think that was to raise money for the club. And the more I think about that, do we know if the Factory Club's going to open again after this, you know? But we're losing places everywhere. So, guys, it's now 25 to 9. I'm going to go and drink some beer. I love you all, and I hope you enjoyed tonight. Again, share the hell out of it and subscribe on YouTube. Okay. Bye-bye.
Christine Haggerty said thank you. No. She said thank you so much. Yes, I remember now. You're girl in contact with David. Yeah, and